Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley Griffin, a Broadway performer, writer, and theater journalist. This is my co-host Poppy. If you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more content from your theatrical Hermione Granger. It really helps me grow my channel and make more content for all of you. So let's get started. About a year ago, news broke that at a performance of the Broadway play Take Me Out, an audience member secretly recorded a nude scene, specifically featuring actor Jesse Williams, and then posted images and video of Williams on social media. The theater where Take Me Out was playing had a policy for the show, which has become standard in many venues, especially with shows that feature or intimacy, of requiring audience members to place phones and smart devices in sealed cases before the performance, which means someone deliberately snuck a phone in, seemingly specifically to take those images. There's been a lot of discussion about this incident and others like it. At the time, both the producers and Actors Equity, the Stage Actors Union, came out against the actions and the bootlegger. But some people condemned the producers and AEA's condemnation because, for some, it seems to be centered on, we're mad because now people are seeing the nudity for free online when we needed the to sell tickets, basically claiming the producers and Equity's problem with the incident was simply based on issues surrounding bootlegging in general. But frankly, whatever the intentions of the producers and Equity, whatever the ins and outs of public and professional frustrations, it has me very concerned that we're completely ignoring the center of why this incident was so problematic. And that has to do with the emotional safety of the performers and understanding the basic concepts of consent. This is personally relevant to me, as it is for any performer, but especially now. I'm about to start rehearsals for an awesome off-Broadway play called The Opposite of Love. The show was originally supposed to open in the fall of 2020, but for obvious reasons, was delayed. We're finally back on track for the opening, and I can't tell you how excited I am. Knowing this show was happening was a huge thing that got me through the pandemic. The show is a deep investigation of intimacy in our current times. And yes, that means there are some physically intimate moments in the show. Discussing Onstage and the issues surrounding it from an intellectual perspective is all well and good, until it's you who has to actually deal with them head-on in reality. I've heard people express opinions along the lines of, hey, if you agree to appear in a show, you don't get to complain about people taking pictures and filming you. You agreed to it, now suck it up. You don't get to complain. As a performer, I wildly disagree, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Let me break it down. If I decide I'm comfortable being in a show, I am consenting for an audience to see my in the context of the piece I'm performing, and theoretically, for the edification of the story I'm telling. If someone takes a photo or video of my body and then starts posting it online, that is wildly inappropriate and something I didn't consent to. I didn't consent to images being posted out of context and potentially ending up on sites where the sole purpose is for people to on photos, videos posted. It's similar to the argument I hear made to women, oh, but if you're comfortable wearing a bikini on the beach, why would you be upset if I walked in on you in your bra and underwear? The difference is context and consent. Sure, some productions might use to sell tickets, but that has nothing to do with the actors having their consent being violated. Of course, there is a risk you take in our tech-heavy society if you agree to be in a show, but you are trusting your production to uphold their end of the agreement to keep in the context of that show and only in that context. There's also a big difference between agreeing to be in a theatrical piece and agreeing to be in a movie or TV show. In a film, the exact being shown down to the camera angles is negotiated in a performer's contract, and a performer agrees to certain shots knowing they will be on posters, in trailers, and online forever. And in film, you can get very specific. I'm okay with this part of my body being shown, but not that part. And guess what? If that gets violated, it's grounds for a lawsuit. There have unfortunately been many instances of film directors taking advantage and shooting something they're not supposed to, and that has led to legal action. But negotiating on film is a very different situation from being in a show and having bootleggers just go at it. If I agree to appear in a show, I'm not consenting to photos or videos of my body being permanently put on the internet. Those are wildly different things. It's like saying if I agree to sleep with one person, I'm agreeing to sleep with any and every person. No. This disturbs me because it's the same argument I hear when private photos of actors get leaked, often in a revenge scenario. The default seems to be, well, if they took the photos in the first place, why are they so upset when they get shown to the world? If they took them, they're asking for it. No. Context and consent matter. And it horrifies me that in these arguments, they seem to mean less than nothing. I would also like to point out that revenge includes the word for a reason. Out of context, that's what it is. And that is something the person in the photograph didn't consent to. Maybe it'll help looking at it in these real life situations. When I work out, I wear clothing that is conducive to my activity. I may wear a sports bra and shorts because that's what I'm most comfortable in. Should someone in my dance class or gym pull out a camera and take pictures of me, I would immediately throw on a sweatshirt and notify someone who is in a position to address the situation. I consented for my fellow dancers or gym members to see me in my workout gear. I didn't consent to be photographed in it for who knows what reason or potential distribution. I usually wear a two-piece bathing suit to the beach. I'm an active swimmer and surfer, and like at the gym, want to wear something conducive to athletic activity that, in the case of being at the beach, doesn't give me tan lines that might interfere with costumes I have to wear. I am not comfortable with someone walking in on me changing and seeing me in my bra and underwear, and will call someone from security if a person deliberately does that. If a fellow actor walks into my dressing room without permission, especially if I'm in any state of undress, I will articulate my discomfort to them and to a person in a position of authority. I don't care if I have a with them on stage. It doesn't matter. And let's also just be super clear. Agreeing to be on stage is not a black and white situation. I'm either okay being or I'm not. Once the issue of is addressed, that's where the conversation begins, usually with the performers, director, producers, and intimacy director. Comfort levels are discussed, and keep in mind, those comfort levels can change, even from night to night. And most intimacy directors will choreograph in different staging options that can be adjusted to an actor's comfort level that day. Conversations about the poster art will happen, which the performer can consent to or not. The day publicity photos are taken, the performer has the right to ask that certain scenes or moments flat out not be photographed. Not just photographed and not used, not photographed in the first place. If any of these consensual decisions are violated, that's grounds for a lawsuit. A bootlegger deliberately violating theater policy and sneaking a camera into a show with the express purpose of photographing or filming performers and then distributing that material online is the equivalent of someone walking in on you taking a shower at the gym, filming you, and then when you get upset saying, hey, you were in a public place, you were asking for it, you're comfortable with everyone in this locker room seeing you, so you're clearly fine with people in general seeing you. You don't get to complain. And all this scares me. I'm about to start rehearsals on a very intimate and I think powerful and moving piece. And when I have conversations about potential with the team, about what the piece needs and about what my comfort level is, the answer I keep landing at is, I don't know. You would think the hardest part of working on a piece like this would be figuring out intimate moments and your comfort level with your scene partner, or even exploring things in a rehearsal room with your production team watching. But the truth is, I'm actually pretty comfortable with that. I'm lucky I'm working with a brilliant team who I completely trust and feel safe with. Even thinking about these things in the context of performing them on stage and what the piece might or might not need is an exciting conversation, but I can't really think about what the piece needs or even what my own personal boundaries are. Because the truth is, I'm scared of bad faith audience members with no respect for the boundaries of consent. And that makes me not want to consent to anything. That means that we as actors can't do our jobs. We can't serve the story, can't even honestly check in with ourselves because we're no longer having a conversation about creating an artistic work. We're having a conversation about, well, what's the worst someone in the audience might do? And could I handle that? And that is wrong on so many levels because, paraphrased in another way, the honest way, that question is, am I okay with potentially being if I show up and do my job. Because, yes, sharing non consensual video or photos of somebody in an intimate state is a form of. This question is exploding into other areas of the entertainment industry and life in general. There's a new app in development that, using AI technology, allows you to take a photo of anyone and digitally have their clothing removed. Deepfake technology allows anyone to suddenly be put against their will into a graphic, hyper-realistic. It's time that we have a serious conversation about it, and I think we should start by talking about the violation that occurred to the cast of Take Me Out and the emotional and potentially other ramifications it caused these actors. For once, can we stop deflecting by making the conversation about money or ticket sales or the value or lack thereof of bootlegging theatrical productions and actually talk about how the consent of these actors was violated, their trust with the audience especially betrayed, and the fact that they had a crime committed against them? Maybe let's reframe the conversation and move forward with those issues at the heart of any future endeavors regarding in the theater.